Hey everyone, welcome to episode 282, One-Liners. Welcome to the Harmony in the Home podcast. I'm your host, Kelly Hutchison. I'm a counselor, a life coach, and most importantly, an imperfect mom doing this work right along with you. And my goal on our podcast is to go from chaos to calm, feel less frazzled, and have more fun within your four walls to have more harmony in your home. Hey everyone, welcome to this episode that you are absolutely going to love. Before we start talking about one-liners, I want to talk to you about pocket coaching, which is a great way to get help to manage your child's tantrums on the go so you can go from frazzled to friendly with your kids. Go to coachingkelly.com, go to the Work With Me tab, and we can work together on Voxer or WhatsApp or whatever works for you, where you can tell me on the go things that are happening and I can give you feedback, suggestions, and things that have happened in my four walls that you might be able to relate with. So go to coachingkelly.com, go to Work With Me tab, and sign up there. So I saw this TikTok called One-Liners, and it was so good. It reminded me of all the things I've been trying to teach on the podcast. And I've done separate episodes of different one-liners, like asked and answered. Like if a child is just asking you over and over and over, you just say asked and answered. You say it with that very neutral tone, not asked and answered, and not whining at your kids. You already asked. I already answered it. Stop. That's a whiny voice. We want to model the energy we want our kids to have. So I've done another podcast about IPS, which I used all the time in the schools, about teaching kids how to be independent problem solvers. I've talked about how the uh-oh technique, which I learned from Love and Logic, which is one of my favorites. I used so many times until they were like, I don't know, say middle of elementary school. The uh-oh technique from Love and Logic is so powerful. You just a very sing-song voice. You tell them in advance, this is your warning word. This is letting you know you're on thin ice. Uh-oh. And then you say the person's name. Susie's not listening. Susie needs to do XYZ on the count of 3, and then the or is usually they lose their choice. So if they're not getting dressed, then mommy is going to pick out what we put on first or something like that. Or if they're not brushing their teeth, then mommy's going to have to help you. And a lot of times they don't want you digging around in there. And if they do want you to help you, then they lose, because people will say, well, they want me to help. That's why they're not listening, because they're acting helpless and they can really do the thing. Well, then you just change the consequence. The consequence would be something like they lose to choose what bubblegum flavor, what flavor of toothpaste they get to choose, and you get to choose. Because kids want autonomy. They want independence. So they want to make all the choices. So another one that's really helpful is when your kids are in the middle of meltdown to say, I'm staying calm to help you stay calm. I got that from my sister who teaches kindergarten. She's retired now, but oh my gosh, did I use that so much when they were little, because it also reminded me when they were screaming because they didn't want us to get in the car seat. I would say, I'm staying calm to help you stay calm. And it would remind myself that I needed to stay calm. Oh, I loved in the classroom saying, ask 3 before me, because I used to wear a little Hawaiian lei around my neck when I was working in my small groups. And kids knew that they were not able to come up and ask me, where's the stapler? Where's the hole puncher that I need for this project? They had to ask 3 before me. So if they came over to me, my first thing was going to say, did you ask 3 before me? Or I would put up the number 3 as I'm working with the student. Just let it remind, oh, that's right, I have to ask 3 people. And usually there was a captain within each center that they were on. And so the captain was trained to know where the hole puncher was, or the stapler, or how do you spell this word? But they want to go to the teacher. They want to get that attention. They want to go to their moms. They want to act helpless. And they don't do it because they're being naughty. They're doing it because they just want a connection. And so I let them know, we're not going to have a connection right now, but you need to ask 3 before me. But afterwards, we will have that connection. So it's just a little bit of teaching them how to delay that. So I saw this TikTok, and it was all about one-liners. Holy moly, there was so many. So I'm going to play this for you, and then I'm going to read some of the comments because it's going to blow your mind.
What is your one-liner as a parent that eats every time you get to use it? In our house, it's you can be mad, but you can't be mean. And it works every time. And I know it works because if I say it to my toddler, he says, okay, mama, and he gives me a hug. So I want to know what yours are.
Okay, so that was so simple, right? And the comments were unbelievable because there was so many more examples. This is Ken Dog 1994. KENDOG 1994. And I love that one that she gave. And I love the comments even more. One of them's a commenter says, tapping on their forehead when they're mad and saying, anger, is that you? Kind of letting them know that you see their anger and you're trying to get them out of the red zone in a light and fluffy way. Rachel says, I heard recently, make your arguments better, not louder. Zom says, we cry to feel better, not to get things. Ooh. Sunshine said, I just heard this. All feelings are welcome, but all behaviors are not. Oh my goodness. User 34, a lot of extra numbers after that, says, if you're not both having fun, you're not playing, you're being mean. I was just joking. You hear that a lot. Megan says, first step to being brave is being scared. And also practice makes progress. Yes, take out practice makes perfect. I changed it when my kids were little. I got it from my principal, Miss Lettieri. She used to say practice makes permanent. Oh, isn't that good? Takes out the perfectionism. PJ Pigpants says, if it's not hurting us, we don't hurt it. Mostly used in regards to bugs or lizards. Oh, that's good. Aspen says, you can make your own choices, but you are not free from the consequences of those choices. She has teenagers. Ooh, I like that. Kate says, we can fix a mistake, but we can't fix a lie. He usually fesses up and we work together. Nicole Baird says, ADHD family here, we use don't put it down, put it away. Oh, yeah. So many times I'm like, oh, I'll do that later. No, I'm going to do it right now. Leave it the way you want to find it. I heard that from some movie star or something. Leave it the way you want to find it. Meaning, if you don't want to see the mess in the morning, deal with it now because you want to leave it the way you want to find it in the morning. Always be thinking of your future self and hooking him or her up. Captain Cuddle says, are you the problem finder or the problem solver when they are just whining but not asking for specific help? That's good. Gives them so much more power. Casey Lee says, if you're the only one laughing, it's not a joke, it's mean. Ooh, that's kind of like the one that we said a couple of times ago. Taking from Bluey, boring things are important too. Yes, teaching your kids how to be bored is so important. Also suit from Bluey. Different families have different rules because your kids, just like we compare sometimes, your kids are going to compare too. Are you tattling or helping? We used to call it in the classroom. Are you tattling or are you reporting? Because reporting is if you're physically hurt. Tattling is if you're on the wrong page of math and you're all concerned about it. At school, you don't have to be friends, but you do have to be friendly. Ooh, I like that. Sharon says, for my teens, she says, your failure to plan is not my emergency. Yes. Oh my goodness. Morgan, speaking of patience, or speaking of waiting, Morgan says, patience is waiting with kindness. Shuts down the whining and grouchiness so fast around waiting for things. Yes. Justice John says, I'm not a parent, but I was a Montessori teacher for 8 years, and mine was, you need to make a good choice because if you don't, I may have to make a choice for you, and you may not like my choice. That is so good because, like I said earlier, kids want choices. And so a lot of times when you take that choice away, they will listen more and be more compliant because they want to have the choice in the matter. McMac95 says, when my kids say that's not fair, we always reply, a fair is a place for rides and funnel cakes. Oh, that's cute. It's not fair. It's not fair. A fair is a place for rides and funnel cakes. Oh, that's cute. For my son, it's having ADHD explains your behavior, but does not excuse your behavior. That usually makes him pause and think. I really don't like to let the kids know if there's some type of diagnosis and put a label on it because it sometimes just exacerbates it and just turns into a self-fulfilling prophecy. So we just work on the strategies that they're struggling with and focus on the strategies versus focusing on the diagnosis. Sarah Jane says, this comment section is the best parenting advice I've seen in a long time. Thanks, friends. Tasha says, in regards to commenting on people's appearance, the way someone looks is the least interesting thing about them. So true. Sarah Lynn says, someone needs to make these into one of those daily calendar things. Such wide words in the comments. Yes. Anika says, when I teach, I learn to ask them, are you telling me this to get someone out of trouble or into trouble? Helps to mitigate a lot of tattling. Julie says, a true apology is a changed behavior. Oh, I like that. Shauna says, fair doesn't mean equal. When they compare things to their siblings, different chores, different bedtime, their different ages and different things are fair for that individual. You can go back to the fairs for funnel cakes and rides. I love that. Be kind or be quiet is mostly for car rides when people are driving each other bonkers. Ours is, ooh, I like this, Mariah. Ours is don't yuck someone's yum. We don't know what other people like to eat. We don't know what their home life is and their food situation. We'll just enjoy a meal together, even if it's different. That could be something that they're wearing, something they wear on their head, clothes they're wearing, the way they have their hair styled, or it could be about someone's food. Ooh, I like this by London. She says, or he or she says, as an aunt, say what you mean, but don't say it mean. Ooh, that's a good one-liner. Morgan says, you don't have to like that my answer is no, but you do have to accept that as my answer. Kelsey says, you worry about you and I'll worry about everyone else because I have a 3-year-old who loves to micromanage each other. Oh, I know what that's like. Mrs. Boggs says, in the same ballpark, when my kids are struggling, I ask, do you need some time or would you like some help? Letting them tell me what my next move is. That is so good because a lot of times we see our child struggling and we want to just get in and fix it and make it all better. But sometimes we make it worse because we take away their autonomy and we take away their trust in themselves that they can figure it out because everything is figure outable. Oh, that's another one. I got that from, I can't think of her name right now, but it wasn't mine. Maria someone. Everything is figure outable. That's so good. So what's cool is that this went pretty much viral. So she made part 1, part 2, part 3. It had 470,000 likes. And her other ones are usually in the hundreds. So it just goes to show you that it resonated with a lot of people. And I think somewhere in the comments, but I can't seem to find it right now. If I find it, I'll post in the show notes. But I think someone put it into a Excel spreadsheet, all of them. So go check her out. She went viral for a reason. I love when people go viral. It's so exciting, especially when they're not expecting to. And then the next video is like, I really didn't expect that one to go viral. And then it always does. I love that. So go to KenDog1994, McKenna C. And not only is her content amazing, but the comment section is just as good. Because when you have a couple one-liners in your toolbox, you not only teach it to yourself, but you teach it to your kids too, so that they can use it with their internal log. Because like we always say, the way we speak to our kids is the way that they're going to speak to themselves. So we want to be intentional about it because when we're intentional, then it creates more intentionality with our kids, and then we have more harmony in the home. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye. Hey mamas, thanks for listening. If you had any ahas, clicks, or those lightning bolt moments while listening, you have to check out my free parenting bootcamp, where we take all of this to the next level and we try to create even more awakenings for ourselves so that we can connect more with our kids and never yell at them again. You can sign up at www.coachingkelly.com. And if you really want to fill up my love cup, send me an email of what your aha was, what your click was, what was that lightning bolt moment while you were listening. I want nothing more in life than for you to have harmony in your home and to learn how to be an imperfect mom like me, which allows your kids to be imperfect too, each and every day. Thanks for listening.